What's up guys, it's Mike with Shallow Reefing coming back at you with another video, and today it's been a while. It's been about a month since I've updated you guys on the reef tank and how it's doing since I had all that crazy cyano and hair algae. So it's a three-part series. First part was talking about, trying to solve the problems and identifying it. Then I finally identified the problem after my ICP test and I pretty much solved it. But now we're at the part where I kind of gotta recover from, all the damage that has kind of been done to the tank. Not a crazy amount of damage, but there are things that I have been doing that will allow me to, really recover these corals quickly. And I think I found the key, and I think I know exactly what was wrong with my tank. Before I tell you how I recovered it, I know a lot of you guys only check out at the 5-minute mark, so I'll give you a synopsis of it. So pretty much what I could make of it, I think that, I originally thought that it was a razor blade that went into the tank and kind of rusted and caused some of this algae bloom and cyano. I was trying to fight the algae, the hair algae that came around because I was starting to dose Vibrant a lot, and when I started dosing that, the cyano took off. My nutrients were undetectable. I had recently taken my, not recently, I took my refugium offline about 2 months prior, and then unbeknownst to me, I also found out my UV sterilizer kicked off. But my UV sterilizer is a 13 watt. It's pretty much a toy. I use it for circulation in the sump to kick up detritus to get into filter pads, so it really doesn't do much, so I didn't take much stock into it. So I was trying to figure out what it was. Now, what I have come to realize was I think I was going about this all wrong. I saw a little bit of hair algae and I should have kind of just, left it alone, or I should have just kicked on my refugium and my sump back in, because the algae would have grown in the sump and not in the display. And because I was already running pretty low nutrients, I was like, oh, well, let's just dose some Vibrant and, kind of reduce the feeding. And when I did that, oh my God, it was the wrong move. Cyano took off, everything took off. I should have, hindsight 2020, I should have increased my feeding. I should have not dosed Vibrant, and I should have put in the ChemiClean way sooner to kick out that red cyano, and then my tanks would have started eating the hair algae. I think it was hair algae. You guys can look back on it. I kind of diagnosed it as hair algae. It could be a misdiagnosis, but I mean, hair algae is hair algae. It's pretty easy to diagnose. So, I kind of butchered that. Now, because I butchered that, some of my corals were already stressed. When you have low nutrients and the corals are kind of paling, and you kind of dose ChemiClean, I'm gonna have some tissue loss. And I did have some tissue loss on them. Now, you guys have seen the videos, and I'm gonna show you some before and after pictures after I show you exactly what I did to help with this tank. Oh buddy, what do I have here on the table? Oh, I forgot one more thing that I have. Yes, this is everything that is going into the tank now. So, I corrected super low nutrients by just going ham. I was originally going to do a coral booster flatworm stop video, just kind of comparing before and after pictures because I heard all great stuff. But whatever, desperate times call for desperate measures. So my whole thing was I am going to pump this tank full of nutrients because the nutrients were my problem, and it will definitely show in the before and after pictures once I get to those. So the first thing I did was I had stopped dosing my AB+. And that was kind of a bad thing because I pretty much went bare minimum. I was only feeding once a day, and pretty much I decided to feed twice a day. So I kind of mix in New Life Spectrum. New Life Spectrum has the Omega formula in it too, because I kind of dumped it in there. And then I also do some Sustainable Aquatics as well. So dosing these, just kind of feeding them haphazardly. I have the little measuring spoon. I do 1 spoonful once a day of this, shake some of this up as well, and then I also do a cube of brine shrimp that is soaked in Celcon once a day as well, so getting 2 feedings in for that. Now this cup here is actually AB+. It looks like a specimen cup because it is. That's where I keep the coral. So what I do is I kind of fill this container up. I have 3 of these in the fridge inside. I have the whole 5-liter container out in the garage, but it takes up too much space, and with a kid, fridge space is a premium. So there's about 120 milliliters in this, and I dose about 40-ish 3 times a week. So I go through one of these containers of AB Plus 3 times a week. Now, 3 times a week with the AB Plus, I'm also hitting it with the Coral Booster and Flatworm Stop twice a week, 10 milliliters. And that seems to be doing really well. And I'm also doing Restore on the coral tissue. So what I do is I take like one of those pipettes, I kind of suck up some stuff in a container, and then I spray it on the coral directly that are affected. And I'm thinking that this might have some benefit. I know that Restore is not going to stop bleaching, but it will kind of help the healthy tissue that's around the area. Now there are a lot of different things that I'm using, so I can't equate, the Restore is doing all this and the AB Plus is doing this and Flatworm Stop and Coral Booster is doing one thing. It's a holistic approach. We're hitting it from every angle. It's going to be a heavy in method. Now I'm also feeding Reef Chili. My Reef Chili is almost up once a week, and I dose my I put Reef Chili in a container, and then I put some Coral Amino on the Reef Chili, and then I feed it to the fish, or not fish, to the coral, and then it kind of gets even more nutrients in the Reef Chili because they kind of just soak up everything with that. And then finally, you can never go wrong with a bacterial supplement. I'm doing 40 milliliters once a week of Brightwell Aquatics Microbacter 7. Don't know if the chemically did anything to the bacteria. I don't have any of the test results for that. The aquabiomics test, I guess it would be. But you can't really go wrong with adding more bacteria. It's not really going to hurt your system. Speaking of bacteria, we all know that, well, most of us know at this time that there's an issue with Vibrant. I will make a statement on my updated opinion on Vibrant because I know that a lot of people have been watching those videos of my use of Vibrant. So I kind of want to make sure that I have all the information before I, post anything about it. I completely forgot that I've also been adding potassium nitrate to the tank. I just put 2 milliliters in every time I feed the fish. Now this container has, it's filled up with RDI water and has 1 teaspoon of potassium nitrate in it. I keep dosing that to the tank. So I'm doing a lot of extra dosing to bring up my nutrients. Now I will show you exactly how far I've come. All right, so back in November, yeah, I'm going all the way back to November, I was only dosing 70 milliliters of alkalinity and calcium supplements. And then now, after adding all of my, dosing from all the heavy input, it's now up to 85. Now, I only started doing the input, dose chemically, okay. This is from, so pretty much at the beginning of February is when I started doing all this heaviness. Well, late January, early February, and in that time I've increased my calcium alkalinity consumption by 15 milliliters. That's a huge increase. That means what I'm doing is working. The corals like it, and the pictures will prove it. So let's get to the pictures, since now you can kind of see all my little things I've been doing. Also, I've had to start even supplementing this with a little bit of a calc drip because it's just not keeping up with any of the consumption. Well guys, you can clearly see that those pictures are amazing. There is such a difference, and it's been a little bit over 3 weeks, almost a month since the whole issue started and I started going ham on dosing and trying to build up the nutrients in the tank. And I finally got to, I think the magic number for me was one ppm of nitrate. Yeah, I know, that's kind of crazy. One. I mean, that's nuts. I've never had one in this tank since, you know, I don't even know when the last time I had any detectable nitrates. Once the coral started taking off and growing, it kind of really soaked up all the nitrates and the phosphates in the tank. So now I actually have to start dosing them and feeding heavy. So the whole plan for me moving forward is to feed heavy and to dose all these extra supplements to the tank. Now, I think, you know, I could get away with it if I added a bunch more fish, fed even heavier, and, you know, dose just nitrates to the tank. But I'm really happy with, you know, the AB Plus and the flatworm stop and coral booster and restore. I mean, there's a little bit of everything. Eventually, I'm going to scale back, but you can't really argue with the pictures, and you really can't argue with increasing my dosing 15 milliliters of calcium and alkalinity a day. And it's only been like a month where it just all of a sudden took off and everything is done really well. All the corals are looking better. You know, the Scully is looking fat and healthy again. It was looking really emaciated and pale. All the acros are pretty much my indicator corals, where I'm going to be able to tell what's going on in the tank, what's going wrong. But yeah, I'm really happy with how the tank has bounced back. I kind of wish I would have, you know, not had this problem. Oh my gosh, I can't even remember that. Bird's nest back there is growing like gangbusters. I didn't even realize that. But yeah, that's growing really fast too. Everything's doing really well now. I'm super happy. So if I could give anyone some advice on what to do if they have a situation where they have, you know, hair algae and cyano, I would try to figure out what the cause of the problem is. If you have low nutrients, it's probably low nutrients. Kick that CyanoBacteria out real quick. Use some ChemiClean. In my opinion, it worked wonders. And then the hair algae, in my case, it just kind of went away. Probably because the fish and the crabs could get to it easier, and they were able to, you know, handle any of the hair algae up in the tank. And then I would tell you to really get your nutrients up. You know, you can't get it up with heavy feeding. You can't get it up with, you know, AB Plus and flatworm stop and coral booster or restore. You know, I would go to the potassium nitrate, what I used. So I think it really took, my tank took a lot of dosing of potassium nitrate to really show detectable levels. Probably did 100 milliliters at 1 teaspoon concentration per 100 milliliters, and that's finally where I got it to a detectable level. And that was, you know, kind of going slow over the course of almost a month, but it finally got up there. So now I just got to continue the path and, you know, come back at you guys with some more videos. So guys, if you like what you see here, oh, I think I should show you something, why it's taken me so long to get to this point. Sorry, I'm gonna kind of screw up this outro for you guys, but it's been a while and there's been a legit reason why you haven't heard from me in a bit. So this is Spencer. He is our miracle baby because he was in the NICU for a long time. He had duodenal atresia, so they had to do some surgery as soon as he came out. So we were in the NICU for what, 17 days almost. And he is looking really, really well and healthy now. So that's probably why you guys haven't seen me in a while. Mostly because we've been busy with this guy right here, and he's super precious. Look at that face. Alright guys, back to my mug for the outro. So, if you like what you see here and you want to see more, click the subscribe button. Give me a like, give me a sub. It really helps the channel grow, and I will keep on providing you some awesome content. Now, if you stayed along to this point, this is my next video, I think. I hope. Come on. It's a par meter. We're gonna get some par readings on the tank. I'll catch you guys in the next one.